What's up, everybody? Couch Mills here, coming at you with a brand new Overwatch video. And in this video, we're going to be breaking down the worst characters that you could possibly be playing right now in Overwatch. But in this video, we're going to be breaking down the least picked heroes in the entire game of Overwatch right now. Talk about, are they actually not viable? Or are they underrated characters that you could actually whip out in certain situations? We're going to be breaking all that down, so make sure you smash that like, subscribe. But go to the GameLeap website in the links down below for high quality in-depth guides, tips, and tricks, VOD reviews. We got everything that you could possibly need over every single hero, so go check it out right now down below. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. So basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at the least picked characters in the entire game according to Grandmaster pick rate as of this week. Now that being said, just because it's not played in Grandmaster, one, doesn't mean that it's not viable in other ranks, and two, does not mean that the character can't be used in certain niche situations. However, it does give us a good indication about what the top players in the game think are viable and aren't viable, and almost always a character is at the bottom of the barrel because of legitimate reasons. Now we're going to be starting at the top here, and there's actually going to be 8 characters we're going to talk about, and the top character that we need to mention at a 1.46% pick rate, but only a 46.38% win rate is Soldier 76. Now, I know what a lot of you are going to say. You say, hey, you told us to play Soldier 76 before. You said that because he has mobility and self-sustain and burst that he's viable at the lower ranks, and that still stands. Soldier is still a character that you can definitely use at the lower ranks to absolutely outplay people. However, as you climb the ranks, it becomes more and more clear that there's just better hit scan options. If you want to be that proactive mobile hit scan threat, you want to play Tracer. If you want to poke from a distance, you want to play Ashe or even Widow. And if you just want to be all around solid, just outputting tons of damage and being pound for pound the best DPS you possibly could be, or the best hit scan you possibly could be, you want to be McCree. So when all these factors are true, Soldier just falls down and down and down the list until he's not really that great. He's like a jack of all trades that is kind of bad at everything right now compared to a lot of the other characters. And really, you do not want a jack of all trades when you're playing a role in a composition at the high level. Sure, maybe having all this flexibility is great at the lower ranks, but because of that balance of power level, there's certain ways that you can't just overwhelm and outplay the opponents or just do something that is so powerful that it just leaves a really lasting impact. Now, the next character that we got to talk about is an interesting one. It's Pharah with a 1.11% pick rate and a 58.49% win rate. So a very high win rate, but a very low pick rate. Now, this is ultimately because of 2 big factors. One, hit scans are so freaking powerful right now, especially, you know, as people's mechanical skill, even past like that diamond threshold, even that plat threshold, Pharahs are just going to get sniped so damn easy unless they're incredibly diligent with their positioning, especially their aerial positioning. Now, that being said, on console, I do think that Pharah is like a legitimate great character to play, especially as you go down the ladder. But on PC, Pharah, unfortunately, is kind of a niche character. I think that she's amazing to play when you have a Mercy Pocket and when you are like pushing a point and the enemy is not playing hit scans. Now, that's going to be kind of rare, but if the enemy is even playing like just like a single hit scan, someone like McCree, maybe someone like Soldier, and one of the ones that just can't reach you like Tracer, right? You can definitely whip out Pharah, but I guarantee you that they're going to be swapping off to characters that can directly counter you. So unfortunately, Pharah is kind of in this situation where she's just not going to be able to just have a huge percent pick rate. And honestly, I think that's the best for everyone. No one just wants perma flying around. I mean, we had double fly in the meta for a little bit, a while back, and it was awful. So no one wants that. Now, the next character that we got to talk about is Genji at a 0.99% pick rate, but a 61.29% win rate. Now, the win rate, I think that you could just pretty much ignore that. It seems that people are only picking Genji when they're already going to win, or maybe top pros. I'm not entirely sure, but Genji is definitely one of the worst characters in the game right now, sadly. And this comes from someone who mained Genji for a long time. Unfortunately, Genji's in a very weird situation where he's either like too good because he can basically just one tap through healing, and that happened a while back when they really buffed his damage, or he's not good enough because the healing is too good and the peel is too good and he just can't get anything done, and he's basically a Blade bot when Blade doesn't even do anything half the time, when there's bubbles and immortality field, and the list goes on and on. Now, that being said, I know that a lot of you, some of you are going to be saying, hey, in my ranks, Genji's shit on me. Well, guess what? That Genji is probably like actually, you know, 1,000 SR higher than you on their main. It's not going to be a legitimate Genji in your rank, and if they are, they are just, probably hard stuck. They're not really climbing. They're staying in that rank for a very long time. And that just proves that Genji is not broken if they can't climb with the character, or it's going to be someone that is smurfing. Those are really the only two situations that you're going to be running into Genjis consistently. Now, do I think that you could get some value on Genji in a lot of games depending on the enemy composition? Sure. I definitely think that Genji could be good against like an enemy composition of maybe like Mercy and Ana and like Widowmaker and McCree. Genji has a lot of counterplay in that environment, but it's kind of very specific, and honestly, there's a lot of other options that are just better, like Tracer and more versatile. So that's kind of where Genji's at right now, unfortunately. Now, the next character that we got to talk about is Reaper at a 0.81% pick rate and a 47.44% win rate. Now, Reaper is a character that I still think is very, very powerful at every rank besides the highest rank. So, while yes, I do think that Reaper is probably accurately placed here, in a lot of other ranks, Reaper should be seeing a lot more play. There is many ways that completely outplays your enemies on Reaper, but there's a few things that you got to make sure that you do. You have to make sure that your time to kill between the time you start firing and the time you're finishing off an enemy is as short as possible. Many people start shooting really, really far away. It gives enemy time to look at you, gives enemy time to back up and peel or use utility on you or even fight back. You don't want to be shooting at McCree from really far away. That first shot, you want them to panic. You want to be like dropping on that McCree, hitting them so hard that they are freaking out and they just throw that flashbang out. You fade it with your fade and you come right back and you finish them off and then you're out of there. That is what you want to be abusing on Reaper, and I think that there are many ways to get a lot of value using that strategy, but of course, as teams become more aware and they peel a lot more, it does become harder. So I do think that Reaper is going to be better at the lower ranks, of course, and I do think that it's going to be a lot worse at the higher ranks, but overall, I think that Reaper is actually just underrated, not necessarily a terrible hero. The next hero that we got to talk about is Mei, 0.78%, but a whopping 58.11% win rate. Now, Mei's unfortunately just a character that's pretty niche. She's not going to be great up against a lot of the characters that she gets no wall value against. Anything with mobility, any of the tanks that can go over a wall, like Wrecking Ball or Diva or Winston, and even Zarya, not that great because Zarya can bail a lot of people out with her bubbles. Mei is a character that if you have like ultimate mastery with her, you can make her work in a lot of situations, but the time and effort needed to get to that like Jardio level of Mei skill, not really worth your time, if I'm being honest, and you're gonna get a lot more value out of a projectile hero with a character like Echo or a character like Hanzo instead, and I just think that that's gonna be better off, besides like really niche situations like maybe Defense Hanamura and things like that. Now, the next character we gotta talk about is Symmetra at a 0.63% pick rate and a 48.33% win rate. Now, Symmetra in Grandmaster is absolute trash. However, I think that she's actually one of the best characters to be playing at the low ranks. She absolutely farms, and I mean farms Winstons, where she could just get like max beam charge just out of nowhere. She's very, very difficult to deal with when you have a team that's just not coordinated, and you're gonna be able to get a lot of value just throwing a teleporter on point, making people back off of chokes, being able to wrap yourself in situations to flank the enemy, or just being a character that can just get your beam or your overall DPS to so damn high. I think Symmetra's a great character to climb with, but when you start to get to the higher ranks, she's just, unfortunately, really kind of dogs to characters like Zarya. She's really just kind of going to get abused by a lot of the top characters in the game right now, and that's just kind of unfortunate, but I do think that she is a fine character to climb with and a little bit underrated. Now, the second least picked character in Grandmaster is actually surprising. It's at a 0.52% pick rate, and it's none other than Sombra. Now, unfortunately, Sombra's power level has just been declining like a lot recently, just compared to a lot of other things in the game. She's not very great against hit scan. She's not really great against a lot of things that are being played right now. And if Sombra doesn't see a lot of play at the highest rank, where you really want coordination to play this character at all, then you definitely should not be touching this character with a 10-foot pole at any rank, honestly, if this is the case, unless you're trying to, get that sneaky C9 in. But let's talk about the least picked character in the entire game at 0.08% pick rate. It's none other than Bastion, and only a 25% win rate, but I mean, win rate doesn't matter when you're talking about pick rate this freaking small. Now, Bastion is trash if you have coordination. Bastion is trash if you have playmakers that know how to shut down a Bastion, and if you keep losing to Bastion in your games, I don't know how many times I have to tell you to go watch my in-depth Bastion counter guide on this channel. It literally will let you never lose to a Bastion again if you just go watch that. So yep, that's pretty much everything I have for you in this video. Definitely tell me what you think about these least picked heroes in the game, and which ones do you think are actually viable? I named a few, but do you have a different opinions? Let me know. Go to the GameLeap website in the links down below for high quality in-depth guides, tips and tricks, VOD reviews over every single one of these agents, every single one of the best agents, and much, much more. Go check it out right now down below. I freaking love your faces, and I'll see you next time.